Acer's Predator XB273K GP is a fantastic 27-inch 4K high frame rate monitor, but this tentative recommendation comes with some major caveats. Did Acer build a bad product, or is Microsoft way behind with their upgrades to Windows?
The Predator XB273K GP is a 27-inch G-Sync monitor with a maximum 144Hz refresh rate and 4K resolution that retails for between $700 and $1,200.
First, the good. I'm a resolution junkie, I'm a frame rate junkie, but I dismissed HDR as a marketing gimmick until I bought this monitor. My 55-inch TV from 2016 has the letters HDR on it, but that's about as far as it goes. It wasn't until I purchased this monitor that I saw what the big deal was. From watching those LG HDR videos on YouTube of people playing chess to having to wear sunglasses to edit a spreadsheet with a white background, this HDR display has up to 400 nits of brightness, which is plenty. I was surfing YouTube finding all the best looking 60 frame per second HDR content and drooling over it for a good 3 weeks after buying it. And games that support HDR look fantastic too. Doom Eternal especially gave me a stupendous HDR presentation. But if you're looking for deep inky blacks, then probably look somewhere else. This monitor really shines with brightness, but blacks, it's not going to give you that OLED look. You're just going to get a nice monitor that gives you great brightness and really good motion. But black levels are just fine. And the color accuracy is literally on point. I have this next to my LG Ultra HD monitor from 2016, and the difference is very noticeable. Colors pop, and I didn't know that I could get a whiter white than white, but here we are. The motion on this monitor looks hella good too, but with a catch. I haven't been able to get it to run at 144 Hz, more on that later, but honestly there's not much to complain about since at 120 Hz this monitor truly shines. And I really like the stand. It takes up a lot of space on my desk, honestly, but you can move your monitor anywhere you want. Up, down, left, right, tilt, up, back, and there's a handy hole in the back for cable management. But this is where things get a little shaky. Before we get to the bad, have you smashed the like button? I've used this monitor in all sorts of setups with my GeForce 1070 Founders Edition. Damn it. I've done the single monitor, the double monitor, the triple monitor, and in all cases it has these same problems. It's a good thing that people in the market for this monitor are also probably very good at troubleshooting, because you're going to be troubleshooting a lot. The thing is, I don't know if it's Acer's fault or Microsoft's. There are so many problems, I don't even know where to begin. If plugging DisplayPort cables into this monitor is like brain surgery, unplugging them is like getting a bullet out of someone's still beating heart. I'm wondering if the engineers over there at Acer realize that DisplayPort cables have a catch, so you have to squeeze the front and back together to get it out. But it rests flat against the monitor, so there's no room for fingers. Basic. The most frustrating part of the setup process was probably trying to get it to run at 144 Hz. First, because there is no mention of it in the documentation, but after reading message boards and watching YouTube videos, I discovered that you're supposed to plug 2 DisplayPort cables into both monitor inputs, then plug both into your display card's DisplayPort outputs. Then turn on the 4K-144Hz setting in the monitor setup menu, and when I did that, the monitor was essentially bricks. The monitor went into this weird mode where it displayed nothing, and it wouldn't let me access the monitor's menu at all to turn off 4K 144Hz mode. It only let me access quick settings, which were useless to me. Thankfully, given that I have a second monitor, I was able to get it to work again. Somehow. I honestly don't remember how I did it, but the trauma stayed with me, so I'm not gonna try again. I started to notice that after I left my computer to go to sleep for a while, then come back to use it again, none of my monitors turn on. I have to turn the Predator monitor off, then back on again, then they all turn on. This happens literally every time. I had to set up the 2 monitors on my desk specifically so that there's a space between them so I can reach the power button. One of my favorite features of this monitor is the HDR support. Too bad I can't turn it on. Turning on HDR in Windows display settings basically doubles my issues. Not only does it have problems turning on when it wakes from sleep, but more often than not, the woken up Predator is a washed out mess. Until I turn it off then on again, in which case it works. Sometimes. Hooray? G-Sync was a major factor when I decided on this Predator. Turning G-Sync on introduces even more issues. It also causes Adobe Premiere to slow to a crawl until I turned it off, so if I even want to use G-Sync, I have to wait until I'm done with Premiere and then turn it on specifically for a game. It's not supposed to work like this. All I want is to have G-Sync on, HDR on, all the time, and just have the monitor turn on from sleep normally. But instead I'm stuck with this fantastic looking monitor that gives me so many problems, it's like having a kid. I'm always at the back of my computer unplugging and plugging things back in. But my main question is, who do I blame? Acer or Windows? I posted the washed out HDR issue on Microsoft support forum, and I'm getting a ton of responses from people with different monitors and graphics cards all having the same issue. I'm starting to think that HDR support is woefully lacking even in the latest version of Windows 10 as well as Windows support for multiple monitors. So maybe it's just a waiting game for Microsoft to patch these glaring issues, because you wouldn't think an expensive monitor like this would be so problematic, but here we are. Overall, if you're willing to deal with the headaches that may be actually coming from Windows and not Acer, then I would definitely recommend this monitor. If you're a resolution junkie like me and can't wait to drool at high frame rate 4K HDR content, then you can't beat the quality for the price. Luckily, most people like me are probably also very familiar with troubleshooting Windows, so the trade-off might be worth it. Do you have a Predator XB273K GP monitor? Or another HDR, high frame rate, or G-Sync monitor? Let me know in the comments if you're experiencing these same issues.